The old, forgotten mailbox at the end of the driveway hadn't seen a letter in years. For Clara, it was a monument to silence, a rusty sentinel guarding a past she tried to forget. 20 years! 20 years since she last seen her father's face, not in person, but in a faded photograph she kept hidden in a shoebox. He'd left without a word, a ghost in her childhood memories, a gaping hole in her heart. Now, at 28, with a life she'd carefully built from the ground up, an old yearning began to stir. Was he okay? Did he ever think of her? The questions, once whispers, had become a roar. So, one rainy Tuesday, with trembling hands, she wrote a letter. She poured 2 decades of confusion, anger, and a desperate, buried love onto the page. She wrote about her graduation, her first job, the man she almost married. She asked him the one question that haunted her nights. Why? She addressed it to the only place she knew, his estranged brother's address. A long shot, a message in a bottle cast into an ocean of time. Weeks turned into a month, then 2. The hope that had flickered within her began to dim. She started to accept it, another closed door, another unanswered question. Then, it arrived. A thick cream-colored envelope with her name written in an unfamiliar shaky hand. Her heart hammered against her ribs. It wasn't from her father. The return address was a nursing home 2 states away. Confused, she tore it open. The letter was from a woman named Eleanor, a nurse. Dear Clara, it began, I'm writing to you on behalf of a resident here, Mr. Thomas Finch, your father. Her father. He was alive. He was in a nursing home. The letter continued, and with every word, the world Clara knew began to fracture. Your father received your letter, Eleanor wrote. He can't write back himself. He has carried it with him every day since it arrived. He asked me to tell you his story, a story he was always too ashamed to tell. The story that unfolded was not one of abandonment, but of sacrifice. Her father, a simple carpenter, had been diagnosed with a rare degenerative neurological disease just a year after he left. The doctors gave him 10 years, maybe 15, before he lose control of his body, his mind. He would become a burden, a shadow of the strong man he was. Eleanor's letter explained, he couldn't bear the thought of you watching him fade away. He didn't want your last memories of him to be of sickness and dependence. He wanted you to remember him as the father who taught you to ride a bike, who built you a tree house, who told the best bedtime stories. So he made an impossible choice. He walked away to protect you from the pain of watching him go. Tears streamed down Clara's face, blurring the ink. He hadn't abandoned her. He had shielded her. All the anger she'd harbored for 20 years dissolved, replaced by a wave of profound, heartbreaking love. The letter continued. He followed your life from a distance, through your uncle. He has a scrapbook, Clara. It's filled with your school photos, your graduation program, even a newspaper clipping about a community project you led. He is so proud of the woman you've become. Her heart shattered, not with the pain of rejection, but with the weight of his silent, unwavering love. All those years she felt alone, he had been watching over her, his heart breaking with every milestone he missed. The final lines of the letter were an invitation. He doesn't have much time left, Clara. He understands if you can't, but his deepest wish is to see you one last time. There was no hesitation. The next morning, Clara was on the first flight out. She walked into the quiet, sterile room of the nursing home, her stomach in knots. The man in the bed was frail, a ghost of the father in her memories, but when his eyes, cloudy but full of recognition, met hers, time collapsed. She rushed to his side, taking his trembling, paper-thin hand in hers. Words failed her. All she could do was weep, laying her head on his chest, feeling the slow, faint rhythm of his heart. He couldn't speak, but he squeezed her hand, a flicker of his old strength. She opened her purse and pulled out the old shoebox, the one she brought with her. Inside were photos, her diploma, an engagement ring from a love that had faded. She had brought her life to him. For the next week, she didn't leave his side. She read to him, told him about her job, her friends, her dreams. She showed him the woman she had become, the woman he had given everything to protect. She placed the scrapbook he had made on his lap, turning the pages, seeing her own life reflected through his loving eyes. It was the most beautiful and most painful thing she had ever seen. One afternoon, as the sun streamed through the window, he squeezed her hand 3 times, their old secret signal for, "I love you." A single tear rolled down his cheek. An hour later, he was gone. He passed peacefully, holding his daughter's hand. Clara's heart was broken, but this time it was different. It was the beautiful aching grief of a love that had finally found its way home. His silence hadn't been an absence of love. It had been its most profound expression. He hadn't left her. He had given her a future free from the shadow of his illness. In his selfless act, he taught her the ultimate lesson, that true love isn't always about holding on. Sometimes it's about letting go. And sometimes a letter isn't just paper and ink, but a bridge across years of silence, leading you to a truth that can heal the deepest wounds and fill your heart with a light that never fades. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content that we hope will inspire and uplift you. We'll see you in the next one.